That rhythm, it repeats.
Amid the relentless thunder of the long siege, a 17-year-old signal drummer heard what others dismissed as the enemy's mindless noise.
Stop wasting your ears on enemy racket. Just beat your own drum and leave the thinking to soldiers.
But Sota couldn't shake the repeating pattern. He scribbled it down with trembling fingers, a secret he couldn't ignore. By dusk, those rhythmic commands drove Titans straight into the eastern trenches. Soldiers died in waves, caught off guard. Sota had pounded a frantic warning minutes before, but no officer heeded the drummer boy's alarm.
Your wild drumming caused a stampede of panic. You are a liability, not a soldier.
Commander, his rhythm matched the attack vector. This wasn't just chance.
Silence. One more word and you are both on report. This drummer is spreading delusion.
I will decode this rhythm, even if I have to do it alone.
Night after night, Sota crouched by candlelight, transcribing the enemy drum beats into patterns only he could see.
The sequence is unmistakable. 6 beats, a pause, then 3 double strikes. It repeats before every raid. You've barely eaten in 3 days. At least take this. What are you trying to prove, Sota? That rhythm is a command. If I stop now, more soldiers will die. I can't let that happen. Riku will have you court-martialed if he finds you obsessed with enemy noise. He's watching you, Sota.
Then, late one night, clarity struck. The drumming wasn't noise. It was a structured language of repeated calls and responses.
Every beat has a purpose. This isn't savagery, it's a code, and I am the only one who hears it. Even if it's a code, who will believe a signal drummer? You are risking everything for a theory.
Even as Sota peeled back the layers of the code, Commander Riku's surveillance tightened like a noose.
I have to go deeper before he silences me for good.
Another dawn brought the rumble of enemy drums building like a storm. Sota froze. The rhythm matched a sequence he'd transcribed.
That pattern. 6 beats, pause, 3 double strike. It's a herding vector. They're driving Titans to the south trench.
Without authorization, Sota hammered the retreat signal, the urgent beat slicing through the morning haze. The south sector scrambled back just as Titans smashed through the barricade, claws sweeping empty trench where soldiers had stood. Before the dust settled, Commander Riku stormed towards Sota's drum post, his face dark with fury.
You sounded a retreat without orders. Do you have any idea what you've done? The entire line could have been compromised.
Commander, the enemy drums were giving herding coordinates. I had to warn the south trench before it was too late.
Riku tore the crumpled notebook from Sota's belt and shredded its pages, scattering the coded patterns like ash.
This delusion ends now. You are confined to your post. Drum only my orders or you'll rot in a cell.
The notes are destroyed, but the code is burned into my memory. I will never stop.
Days passed in a blur of drum beats and sleepless vigilance. Sota rebuilt the code in his mind, tapping rhythms on his thigh when no one watched.
I got these from the listening posts. Don't ask how, but they're recordings, wax cylinders, of the enemy drums. You risked everything for this. Thank you, Yuto.
Alone again. Sota pressed his ear to the cylinder, the crackling drums flooding his mind like a fever dream he could finally read.
It's not just attack. They're hurting them. Specific coordinates, timing. This is a whole language of control. Herding. You mean they're moving the Titans like cattle, steering them into our line? Exactly. With this code, I can hear their plan before it ever hits. I need to build a dictionary in here.
Piece by piece, he assembled a mental lexicon, mapping every rhythm to its grim command: advance, retreat, flank, herd.
But a language this precise, how are mere raiders capable of it? The scale is beyond anything we imagined. I have to decode more. There's a larger pattern at work, and if I am right, the front line is in greater danger than anyone knows.
The next day, enemy drums echoed a pattern Sota knew too well, a herding vector aimed straight at Yuto's squad.
The vector is confirmed. They'll hit Yuto's position within minutes. I have to warn them.
He beat a frantic coded warning on the signal drum, the rhythm cutting through the morning mist. Yuto's squad pulled back, just as Titans shattered the barricade. Another unit saved by the drummer's code.
We made it out because of you. The men call it luck, but I saw the pattern. It's not luck, but Riku will call it insubordination, and this time he'll have me arrested.
Rumors of the lucky drummer rippled through the ranks, eroding Riku's iron grip on the line.
This drummer is spreading superstition and dissent. If he predicts another attack, he'll face court-martial.
Riku summoned Sota and delivered an ultimatum. Drum only his orders, or rot in a cell.
I can save lives, but every time I act, they move to silence me. The code is a cage.
That night, a low thunder of enemy drums rolled across the line. The rhythm froze Sota's blood.
That sequence. A multi-vector herding command. The largest I've ever decoded. The target. The supply depot in Sector 7. If it falls, the entire front line starves. Sota, you look like a ghost. What did you hear? The drums just ordered a coordinated Titan strike on the depot. We have maybe an hour. But Riku will throw you in the stockade the moment you touch that drum without his command. I know. But if that depot is overrun, hundreds of soldiers die. I can't just stand here.
In the command tent, Riku's orders were absolute. Let the depot hold its own. But Sota's code screamed otherwise.
I'll beat the warning. Whatever comes after. I accept it.
Sota strode toward his drum, the weight of his choice pressing down. But the rhythm of survival was already beating in his hands. Sota's sticks hammered the coded warning. Each beat a desperate plea for the depot to listen. Miraculously, the garrison scrambled into formation just as Titans smashed against barricades that would have been unmanned. But before the echoes died, Commander Riku seized Sota's wrist, wrenching the drumstick from his grip.
You deliberately disobeyed a direct command. You are not a soldier. You are a traitor.
I saved the depot. The drums were giving coordinates. I had to warn them.
Guards, throw this deluded boy in the stockade. Let him hear nothing but stone walls.
Sota was dragged to a dark cell, his drumstick stripped, his uniform torn like a criminal's. But even through stone, the drumming in his head never stopped. Distant rhythms pulsing through the earth.
The drumming hasn't stopped. The depot was only the first vector. There are more simultaneous attacks across 3 sectors. This was never about one depot. It's a full-scale assault, and I am the only one who knows.
In the cold cell, Sota scraped a sharp stone across the wall, carving the drum patterns into a frantic map of destruction.
3 vectors. Converging. Titans herded from 2 flanks, while the center holds a classic pincer.
A familiar face appeared between the bars, Yuto, disguised as a stockade guard, pushing bread through the slot.
Sota, the whole base is on edge. Have you decoded it? Listen, sectors 3, 5, and 9. Simultaneous herding. Get this to anyone who will listen. I'll take it to the signal officer. If I can get him to believe just once.
But in the shadowed corridor, Commander Riku was waiting. He snatched the cloth before Yuto could reach the officer.
A drummer's scribbles? You think I'd let this superstition reach my command?
Riku burned the cloth in a lantern flame and ordered double guards on Sota's cell. No message, no hope.
Now, it's just me and the drums outside my wall counting down to a slaughter no one else believes is coming.
The attack came as Sota had foreseen. Titans herded in a 3-pronged pincer, smashing through unprepared lines.
The timing, exactly as I decoded. The drums never lied.
Hours later, Yuto returned to the cell, his face hollow with grief and exhaustion.
Sota, you were right. The sectors fell just as you predicted. So many dead. I need to hear the recordings from the battle. Any cylinder, any listening post. I have to understand how they coordinated so perfectly.
By nightfall, Yuto slipped a wax cylinder through the bars, captured from the very heart of the attack. Sota pressed his ear to the cylinder, tracing the drum patterns with his finger, and then he froze.
The signal strength, the timing offset. This drumming didn't originate from the enemy side. It came from inside our perimeter. Inside? You mean? Someone in the kingdom is doing this? This war is a lie, and our own command is beating the drums.
Sota pulled Yuto close to the bars, his voice a raw whisper.
Someone inside our lines has been commanding those titans. The herding language, it's being drummed from our own perimeter.
That's treason of the highest order. But who would have the resources, the expertise to pull this off?
Any unit with high-grade drum equipment, intelligence, signal command, someone with access to battle plans.
Yuto's face hardened into a mask of grim resolve. He nodded once.
Then I'll find out. I'll investigate every unit with a drum, even if it kills me.
The next morning, footsteps echoed in the stockade corridor. Polished boots, not guard issue.
I am Captain Isana, Intelligence Division. I am here to assess the case of the insubordinate drummer.
He wears the intelligence insignia. Is he here to uncover the truth, or to bury me with it?
Isana said nothing more. But as he left, the chill he left behind was colder than the stone.
Sota, I found something dangerous. There's a classified intelligence unit. They have high-tech drum communicators. Advanced encrypted.
Advanced encrypted communicators. Exactly what you'd need to stage false flag attacks from behind our lines without detection.
He pressed the cylinder to his ear, listening past commands, for the faint hum of the drum's origin.
There. A 60-cycle calibration hum, the same tuning signal used by every Kingdom Signal Corps drum. It's ours.
He isolated the origin signature embedded in the sequence. It matched official military equipment identically.
This isn't a rogue operator. Only the intelligence wing has access to encrypted drum hardware like this.
So it's the intelligence wing. Our own people are killing soldiers to justify this war?
They need a visible enemy to keep the war funded. It's all a lie. I have the unit, but not the name. The puppet master stays hidden.
The conspiracy now had a shape, the intelligence wing, Signal Corps gear, but its face remained in darkness.
I recorded a transmission from the intelligence tent. Listen to the drum commands, and the voice behind them.
The drum pattern is identical, but there's a secondary audio layer, a voice giving precise timestamps.
He cross-referenced the timestamp signal. It matched the exact hour of Isana's stockade visit.
Isana. He came here not to assess me, but to confirm the next attack's timeline himself.
The cold captain, who had stood before the cell, was the same voice calmly ordering Titan vectors through encrypted drums.
If he's the mastermind, we have to stop him. But how? You are locked in here.
I can't beat the truth from inside a cell. I need to get out and reach the central signal drum. The signal drum network is connected across the front. If I broadcast the decoded commands in plain rhythm, every soldier will hear.
Tears. There's a massive herding command scheduled for 2 days from now. If we don't act, hundreds more will die.
2 days. 48 hours to shatter a lie or be buried under it. When the stockade alarm screamed, Yuto's diversion worked. A mess hall fire pulling the guards away, Sota's cell door swung open. He bolted into the freezing rain, clutching his decoded notes to his chest, sprinting toward the central drum tower. A shout split the rain. Isana's intelligence agents, their black uniforms barely visible, spotted the escaped drummer.
They know I am out. I can't outrun them all.
Keep moving, Sota. We'll hold them.
Yuto's squad skidded into the alley, blocking the agents with a sudden barricade of overturned supply carts. Sota veered into a munitions shed, pressing himself flat against cold metal crates as heavy boots thundered past outside. In the pitch dark, he clutched the crumpled notes, the decoded lexicon that proved the war was a lie.
The signal drum is just across the parade ground, but they're combing every corner now.
The hunt was on, but the drummer was still free, and even closer to the drum that could break the conspiracy wide open. As dawn bled pale across the line, the signal drums thundered to life, not with warning but with calculated herding coordinates. The false flag attack had begun.
The drums, they're starting the herding sequence. I have to move now.
He sprinted through the chaos and reached the drum platform, just as a cluster of officers moved to block his way.
Let me through. I have to stop the slaughter before it's too late.
He shoved past them, wrenching the drumsticks from their mount.
Drum, Sota, we'll hold them back. This is your moment.
He slammed the sticks down. the first beat of truth cutting through the false rhythm like a blade.
This rhythm will either end the war or get me killed. There's no middle ground.
Explosions rocked the distance, but the drummer kept pounding, syncing his heartbeat to the beat. And so, with a steadying breath, the 17-year-old drummer began to beat the truth into the very bones of the front line.
First command decoded. Herding vector. Sector 5. They are driving Titans toward the left flank.
The drums you are obeying aren't the enemy. They're false commands broadcast from within our own perimeter.
Jam that signal immediately. Overload his frequency and drown him out.
Those patterns. I recognize them. Sota was right all along. This attack is a fabrication.
A burst of static screeched across the drum network as Isana's technicians activated their countermeasure, warping Sota's signal. The two rhythms waged war in the air. The deceiver's precise code against the drummer's raw, bleeding truth.
No matter how they distort it, I'll beat this rhythm until every soldier understands what's happening.
On the front line, men froze, their hands on weapons, eyes darting between officers and the distant, urgent beat.
To the intelligence tent. Stop the false broadcasting before we march our men into oblivion.
But in his tent, Isana listened to the clashing frequencies with a predator's calm as the duel of rhythms shook the line. As the soldiers wavered, Sota's rhythm clawed through the static. He began to beat the origin of the false commands from within their own perimeter.
He's telling the truth. I've heard the recordings. Intelligence officers are staging these attacks to fund the war.
A wave of disbelieving silence swept the line. Rifles dipped, and the men who were preparing to advance now turned their eyes toward the rear. Commander Riku burst into the intelligence tent, his face twisted with fury and betrayal.
Was this all your design? The herding commands, they came from this tent, didn't they?
Of course. The war requires a visible enemy. Your soldiers are merely fuel for the budget.
The confession tore through the camp. Soldiers who heard it surged toward the tent, their allegiance finally broken.
You heard it from him. The drummer boy exposed what our own command buried.
A physical struggle ignited as Isana's loyal officers tried to shield him, but the tide of common soldiers overwhelmed them. Still drumming, Sota watched the front line break, not from enemy assault, but from the crushing weight of a manufactured war. Rough hands seized Captain Isana and his intelligence officers, dragging them from the tent like criminals.
All units, stand down. The command was a lie. There is no enemy assault, only betrayal from within.
The herding signals fell silent. Without commands, the Titans lumbered aimlessly into the mist, no longer a weapon. On the drum tower, Sota shifted his rhythm to a steady, unifying beat, the language of peace he'd always held inside.
He did it. The drummer boys stopped the entire war.
Across the line, weapons clattered to the ground. Men embraced, not in victory, but in the raw relief of survival. Commander Riku watched the transformation in silence, the weight of his past blindness etched deep into his face.
It's over. The code that almost destroyed us is now the rhythm that saved us.
The ceasefire held, fragile but unbroken, sealed by the beat of a single drum. The false flag operation had collapsed, and the 17-year-old drummer who had been a prisoner just hours ago stood as the line's unlikely savior. Slowly, the soldiers who had been ready to fight moved toward Sota's drum tower. Not as a mob, but as a shield.
He's the reason we're still breathing. The drummer caught what the entire command missed.
Commander Riku pushed through the crowd, his pristine uniform smeared with dirt, his authority gone.
Sota, I was blind. I let pride deafen me to the truth you heard. I owe you my honor.
After all the ridicule, the cell, the silence, he's finally listening.
In distant posts, the kingdom's own signal corps took up Sota's rhythm, amplifying the decoded truth across the entire front. When Isana was led past the soldiers he'd betrayed, his cold composure shattered, eyes darting, composure stripped. For a single moment, the architect of this nightmare looked utterly, pitifully human.
Even the mastermind of this nightmare can't hide now. The truth is in the drum beats.
The false flag lay exposed. The war paused. all because one drummer refused to stop listening. Through the settling dust, Sota looked out at men he'd once thought were enemies, now just soldiers like himself. Bewildered and spent, he raised his drumsticks and struck a simple, repeating pattern, a rhythm without code or command.
This beat is for no general, no war. It's the sound of peace.
Across the line, weapons lowered, not in surrender, but in understanding.
He's calling us to peace, and every heart on this line is listening.
One by one, bayonets were fixed downward, and the roar of war gave way to the steady drum of peace. Sota's hands, calloused and trembling, held the rhythm as long as his strength allowed. The peace rhythm held, fragile, but resonant, until the last echo faded, and the drums fell completely silent.
No more hurting. No more staged attacks. Just this.
The war, built on lies, had stopped, silenced, not by a general, but by a drummer's unyielding beat. Before the tattered command staff, Riku removed his insignia of rank and spoke.
The conspiracy was unmasked not by our strategy, but by a signal drummer who refused to stop listening.
Sota lowered his drumsticks, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders.
You've earned a hero's commendation. Name any reward.
I don't want medals. I want the drum code archives opened. Every record of the false commands. Let the signal drums speak truth, not war. That's all the reward I need.
So be it. Every drum archive will be unsealed for investigation. No more secrets.
For the first time, the signal core would be transparent. No hidden frequencies, no coded lies.
He chose truth over glory. That's why we're still breathing.
The drummer who was never a soldier became the war's most unlikely peacemaker. The sun rose over a battlefield that no longer needed drums of war. Sota stood alone on the old rampart, drumsticks limp in his tired hands, gazing out at the quiet world. Yuta walked up silently and leaned against the cold stone beside him.
What will you do now that there's no war to listen to?
I've been listening to violence so long. I'm not sure what peace sounds like.
For a long moment, neither spoke. The wind that once carried war now held only silence. He looked down at the drumsticks, the only weapons he'd ever needed. Then, gently, he laid them on the stone parapet. Not broken, just finished. Yuto placed a hand on his shoulder, a quiet promise that the silence would not be empty.
For now, this is enough.
The drum harness hung empty on the old rampart post, the wind humming a quiet tune through its straps. No orders beat through the lines now, only the slow, steady breath of peace. Sota's drumsticks remained on the stone where he had left them, untouched by the wind. In the distance, the silent battlefield stretched under a pale sky, its trenches already filling with wild grass. The war ended not with a general's order, but with a drummer's beat. And as the harness swayed in the breeze, the sound of peace unfolded, steady, unbroken, and real. No more signals, no more lies. Only the wind and the memory of a boy who listened. The rampart stood empty, a sentinel that no longer needed to watch for war. All that remained was a single, simple truth. Peace is not the absence of noise, but the right rhythm. And with that, the war fell silent.